Ever since Samuel L. Jackson stepped out of the shadows wearing that eye patch, post-credit scenes have been an expected and almost mandatory part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Since then, almost every single film has had one. They used to be integral to furthering the stories in the MCU. However, lately they've been...
You're never gonna believe this.
I believe it.
Are these scenes paying off? Are they really essential for the story being told? Let's take a look at every post-credit scene in Phase 4 and ask the eternal question, is it really necessary to watch through all the credits if I super have to pee? I'm Chris Goodmakers, and this is every post-credit scene explained. Spoilers because, obviously I'm talking about endings here. Come on, people. We're starting with the first project of Phase 4 and its big teases. In the first one, Monica Rambeau, now newly cosmiced up, is approached by a couple of undercover Skrulls. They tell her Nick Fury wants to see her in space. This one is branching off from the ending of Spider-Man: Far From Home. Nick Fury was revealed to be a Skrull under the command of actual Nick Fury. These two teasers have yet to be resolved and are collectively the biggest dangling plot thread in the MCU right now. It's sort of unknown what Fury wants with the Skrulls and Monica. Knowing him, however, I bet it involves an invasion of the secret variety. We will come back to this one when we talk about Ms. Marvel, but for now let's move on to A Cabin in the Woods. The second scene is focused on Wanda. She finds herself at the standard issue secluded Marvel cabin. She's now in possession of the Darkhold, an evil book she confiscated from an overly dramatic witch. This one has been paid off, thankfully. It basically serves as a setup for the recent Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Wanda went insane, rocks fell, she died. Maybe. Let's move on. On to Flappy Boy and Sad Cold Man. This limited series ended with Sam Wilson as the new Captain America and everyone enjoying a nice barbecue. Watch out though, because Sharon Carter has made a heel turn. At the end of the show, we learned that the disgraced former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent had become the mysterious power broker, an underworld boss with incredible power. Welcomed back into the government's open arms, she makes a one-sided phone call.
We're about to have full access to government secrets, prototype weapons, you name it.
Who's she calling and what's gonna happen? Well, this is leading into a few events. The first is Iron Wars. Carter will use her access to new weaponry to disseminate a lot of Tony Stark's old suits and tech. There's really no actual way to know who she was calling. It's possible the writers don't even know yet. However, I can take a guess. It clearly sounds like she's talking to a superior, or at least a peer. While the recently disgraced damage control agent Deaver is a good option, my real guess is the Contessa. The Contessa is forming the Thunderbolts by recruiting people like John Walker. It stands to reason that she could use the weapons and tech to arm her new team of anti-heroes. As yet, this one is unresolved, but has been slightly expanded on, which is more than I can say for... Loki ended on a big cliffhanger with the God of Mischief stuck in an alternate timeline. Kangs abound, and the multiverse begins. Maybe. I'm not talking about that though, because that is not a post-credit scene. That's just the end of the season. Loki really has no post-credit scene, except to say that he will return in season 2. So there you go. Unresolved until season 2 comes out.
I knew it. I knew you did. It's so cool, right? It's cool.
This one is a bit of an oddity because this movie was meant to be the first thing in Phase 4. Then a massive global pandemic pushed its release back by almost a year. The post-credit scene was originally supposed to introduce Contessa. She appears in front of a grieving Yelena and tells her Hawkeye is the reason Natasha is dead. The Contessa bit of this ending is more Thunderbolt setup. The Yelena bit leads into Hawkeye, where she tries to get revenge on the Purple Archer. She learns the truth about her sister and vows to go after the woman who sent her after Clint, which isn't Contessa. It seems Contessa was just acting as a middlewoman for this info. She'll probably go back to the Contessa, who will offer her a position on the Thunderbolts. However, future development doesn't matter, because as of Hawkeye, this specific ending is resolved. One of the few.
I'll Venmo you for them.
2 movies in a row, kind of rare for this phase. Shang-Chi ended with the new holder of the 10 rings having them examined by Wong, Carol, and Banner. They are like nothing anyone has seen, and they're broadcasting an ominous signal. Also, karaoke. This one is very important because of how it could tie everything together. The 10 rings may be related to Kamala Khan's bangle. Both may be a Kree nega band, possibly even from the same set.
So where's the other one?
There's no definitive answer, but the signals may relate to the Marvels and the Kree. It also may be broadcasting through the multiverse. Watch my Phase 4 is a mess video for expansion on this, but honestly, this is the cliffhanger that raises the most unanswered questions. Well, good unanswered questions, I mean. But we'll get to Multiverse of Madness. What if? Well, what if this cartoon anthology had a post-credit sequence that mattered in any way? This animated show explores the multiverse and asks questions like, what if Steed stayed skinny? At the end, Captain Carter finds the World War II Iron Man suit may contain her lost love.
Yeah. And there's someone inside.
It's nice, but unless there's a Captain Britain movie announced anytime soon, I hardly think it will matter. Oh, come on! Can we finish the phase before we announce anything else? Kevin, you have a problem. Seek help. Yay. It's the Eternals now. This one is packed, folks. It's like they decided to make up for other MCU projects not having a tease by using this one to set up like 20 different things. Daddy Celestial is going to judge the Earth. He's basing his verdict on the experiences of a self-obsessed movie star and an out-of-touch 10,000-year-old robot who loves TikTok. Out-of-touch TikTok. Yeah, everyone is doomed. Also, Cersei's human BF, Jon Snow, is actually descended from knightly royalty and is the heir to an ominous black sword. I'll use this to stab God, he thinks to himself.
Sure you're ready for that, Mr. Whitman?
And finally, the remaining Eternals are aimlessly flying through space when they are paid a visit by Patton Oswalt and Harry Styles. Styles is Star Fox of Mystery Planet, who is also the brother to Thanos. What, you guys don't see the resemblance? Okay, so the Celestial thing will probably pay off in Eternals too, if that ever happens. Jon Snow is off to become the Black Knight, and may lose some arms and legs in the process.
Didn't I miss? Come on then! What? How about you?
And finally, Star Fox and Slippy want to recruit the Eternals for something. Probably some kind of crossover event film, because we are all so still excited about those now. What, you didn't love Space Jam 2? Literally nothing from this one has been resolved or followed up on. It's like a cinematic sampler platter where no one liked the crab paste. Yes, when Hawkeye came to an end, there were some unanswered questions. Is Kingpin still alive? What will Yelena do now? However, none of that matters because it all happens before a single credit rolls. The true end credit scene is the Broadway smash hit of the year, Avengers the Musical. The theater is magical, and this is still better than Cats.
Meow.
The multiverse cracked open and cameos came flooding out. The end of Spider-Man No Way Home features a quick last one from Eddie Brock, played by Tom Hardy. He and the Venom symbiote have found themselves in the MCU. They stick around just long enough to have a drink with Danny Rojas, and then they blink out. Unfortunately, they left a little goo behind. Fortunately for all of us, the Sony side of the world of Marvel continues to not matter in any way. Sorry, Vulture, now you have to hang out with Morbius, a fate worse than death. The Venom goop hasn't been resolved yet, but I'm pretty sure it will result in Spider-Man donning the famous black suit for the first time. Except for the 2 times he's already worn a black suit now.
Like a butterfly, stinging like a bee. My name's Stephen with a V.
The MCU introduction of the Fist of Khonshu features a hero split between multiple identities. Throughout the series, Steve and Mark alternate control over Oscar Isaac's body. However, multiple times through the series, a third, more violent identity was teased. Well, the post-credit scene introduces us to the psychopathic Jake Lockley. This is really the only post-credit scene in all of Phase 4 that only relates to the series it's on. Loki not included, of course. Season 2 of Moon Knight will follow up on this third personality, who plays a large role in the comics. I don't think it will really matter when it comes to anything else, unless Jake Lockley somehow ends up on the Thunderbolts. I won't spend any more time on this one, viewers, because it's time to talk about Doctor Strange. I'm kind of in the minority of actually loving Multiverse of Madness for being as crazy as it was. Sam Raimi can transition the hell out of a scene. However, its teaser is a perfect example of all the worst qualities of an MCU post-credit sequence. It's confusing, it introduces a character so obscure it requires additional research, and it basically boils down to...
Get in, losers, we're getting shawarma.
So we have Charlize Theron entering the MCU as Clea. Yes, the storied character that every kid loves. I remember my Clea pencil case and bed sheets fondly. Yeah, this is kind of an obscure character that really only relates to Doctor Strange. This ending raises the most needlessly existential questions. Who is the Purple Lady? Why is Strange just cool with his third eye now? Wait, what are they doing? I used the clip from the end of Super Mario Bros. At the start of this video, but I feel like it's a real apt comparison. Both are just as abrupt, confusing, and clearly indicate the writer making promises they have no idea how to fulfill. This teaser is unresolved, and will likely lead into whatever multiverse-destroying event lies in Marvel's future. It's probably going to be the Secret Wars. No, not that one. Not that one either. Yeah, that's the one. This was an event where multiverses collided and were destroyed, and the end result was basically the 616 universe pillaging their AUs for core characters. Goodbye, Ultimate Marvel. Welcome to the mainline universe, Miles Morales. And here we have Miss Marvel. While the first scene features the MCU's first use of the word mutation, it's not the real cliffhanger for the series. That would be when Kamala suddenly switches places with Carol because of her negaband. This is going to be directly tied in with the upcoming film The Marvels. Shang-Chi established that Carol was off Earth. Wandavision established that Monica will be working with Fury and the Skrulls. Given Carol's relationship to the refugee Skrulls, it's not hard to think she's also involved. Now Kamala is wherever Carol was, and Carol's gonna be racing to save her young superfan from wherever she was sent. First though, she'll have to explain to Muniba where she sent her daughter. Personally, I wouldn't trade places with Carol for all the back issues in the world. And finally, Love and Thunder, which as of this video is the most recent Marvel film. This one features a few teasers as well, because it's always fun to double up. Firstly, we have the introduction of Roy Kent as Hercules in a truly ridiculous outfit. Hercules is a popular character in both Marvel Comics and, you know, Greek history. It looks like he is going to be tangling with Thor soon, but expect them to end up as friends, because that's what happens every time a hero is sent to fight another hero. Remember the golden rule of interpersonal relationships in Marvel. If they fight in the first act, they'll be friends in the third. If they're friends in the first act, they'll fight in the third. It's the natural law of dynamic relationship conversion. Finally, we have Natalie Portman joining Heimdall in Valhalla. It's good she has her eternal reward, but come on guys. Didn't we just have a series where a dead hero returned from a mystical afterlife of the deity they served? I give Jane a half a phase before she's back on Earth swinging hammers into people's faces. This one's unresolved because there's nothing after it yet. It's done. We're done. So that's them all, folks. So far. Out of all the teasers in Phase 4, Shang-Chi exemplifies the best qualities, and Doctor Strange 2 has the worst. Shang-Chi features cameos from characters we know, it furthers the overall mystery of what this phase is about, and it seems like it will be very relevant in the future. Plus, it ends on a genuinely funny joke that's set up earlier in the film. A good teaser can really enhance the experience of a film and build hype into the next installment. Marvel's early works featured teasers focused around the Avengers or the Infinity Stones. Now they're all over the place and require extra research. Can't we just go back to the simple days of tiredly eating shawarma?